But yeah, United didn't quite do enough. And that's kind of the overriding opinion. Look, I think today was the problem with United today. I don't think you can look at our performance there. I don't think you can kind of really pinpoint any, or many at least, poor performances. I think today our big problem was not poor performances, but just not enough good performances. If that makes sense. So I don't, because I can't particular. I mean, I think obviously when we go to the player ratings, we can discuss it a little bit more. But I don't look at any of those players today and think, oh, he was really poor today. I think the problem was we had too many just meh performances. We had too many sixes and a few fives. You might have a few sevens here and there, but especially in that front line, there just wasn't enough players playing well to create anything else. Our goal came from a moment of quality, but we weren't creating chance after chance after chance like Sociedad were at times through the game, and especially at the end when obviously we kind of went for it. We obviously threw Harry Maguire up top. And look, I mean, I refilled my bottle. I went to the toilet, and I was just thinking, who is man of the match today? And I think that's quite a damning statement, because quite often you look at a performance and think, all right, he's a standout player today. And I don't think there is a standout player for me today. I think it's all just sixes and sevens and an occasional five here and there potentially. I don't think there's been any top performances, and I think that's kind of why we haven't won this game by more. Because I definitely think if we had put in a performance that I know we are capable of, and a type of performance that we've seen from United in the past few games, then we could have won this game, and we could have got that 2-goal margin that we would have needed to qualify top of the group. And I do think part of that does come through Erik ten Hag. I didn't like the experiment with Bruno out on the right today. I said that at half time. I said that throughout the first half. Bruno wasn't bad there, but I just don't think I don't think he's a right winger. I said you don't have to take Van der Beek off if you don't want to, but you either take Van der Beek off or you take Eriksen off. You take one of those off, you put Bruno central, you bring on Alanga, you bring on Palestri, you bring on Rashford, you bring on one of those on that right side, or potentially you move Garnacho over to the right and play them off the left, and then you play, because we need a place from the start. Garnacho and Rashford up top could have caused problems. And yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't like Marcus Rashford at number 10. He's not good enough to play number 10 as well. I have to say, when Garnacho came on, Rashford came on, I instantly went, all right, Bruno's going to go central, because he's a number 10. Rashford's a winger. But we put Rashford in there and he looked lost. Never really got any sort of opportunity. Never really got running at people. He looked lost in midfield. And against Sheriff, it worked. Against a quality opponent, it didn't work. And again, I think that's a mistake from Erik ten Hag. And I think Erik ten Hag, look, he went for it at the end, and I respect that. But I feel like from the start, he could have done a few things better to really, to win us the game. Really, we need pace. Ronaldo shouldn't have played either. We need to play with pace up front. It always works. I would have played Ronaldo today. This is the team I said we should have played, and well, I had Bruno on the right, and obviously that didn't work. But I would have played Ronaldo. I would have played Bruno on the right at the start. I would have changed it. I would have brought him central and taken off. I would have taken off Eriksen actually to rest him and give Donny the 90. But yeah, I would have taken off. Would have changed it. I would have brought on a Garnacho because yeah, I agree. I think we were missing a bit of that pace. I think when Garnacho got it, he was electric. He looked dangerous, and I think he has to be one of the candidates for man of the match. He obviously got the goal that won us the game in the end. And I didn't look at Bruno Fernandes on that right wing and ever think, right, he's looking dangerous. He's played well, obviously played a big part in the goal, but I always thought when Bruno came central was when he looked more dangerous. And if we had Garnacho and Rashford on the flanks, or Rashford and Alanga, or Garnacho and Alanga, whoever on those flanks with a bit of pace, able to run at people, and just a proper winger, really, we would have been a lot better today, and I think we could have actually won the game by more. I said it during the game. At times, with Bruno's running down this the flank, and I think it happened twice. Just poor crosses because he's not used to kind of running with the ball at pace down the line and then trying to get a cross in. Alanga, Rashford, they're wingers. Garnacho, they're wingers. They've done that their entire lives, more or less. Palestri as well. I think you put one of those there, we could have scored a second. I think that was a mistake on Erik ten Hag's behalf. Obviously, look, we did win the game, and I think obviously because we needed to win by 2 to go top of the group, the result kind of feels like a loss. But we have to remember we did win the game. We did win, and while it's disappointing that we didn't score 2, Real Sociedad are a good side, and we beat them. Regardless of how we did it, we did beat them. So I think we can be happy with the result, with having won against a top team, but also of course we're going to be disappointed in the fashion that win came in, given the circumstances around it, in a sense. Obviously, we can then talk about the system change. We obviously, well, in the end of the game, we were playing this, weren't we? That was, he was off. Fred. Garnacho came off from Maguire. We were doing this. In a sense, it was almost like that. Like, it was so bizarre. Obviously, we were trying to get the ball into Maguire to win knock-ons. I mean, McTominay were getting forward as well. We were getting everyone in and around the box. And when I don't really think it worked. I can see why we did it. Something he's done at times at Ajax, apparently, and it's worked. I don't think it really worked today. And I think if we kept the 4-2-3-1 or the 4-3-3 for a bit longer, then maybe we would have a little bit more success. And again, I think Erik ten Hag has to take that on the chin. But at the end of the day, like I said at the beginning, I don't think that there was many bad performances. I just think Real Sociedad, look, we won the game after all as well. Real Sociedad just had a plan. They came here to try and draw the game. They didn't. I don't think they were too fussed on winning. They just made sure they were making sure they didn't lose by 2. And when you're playing against a top side that are playing that negatively, it's going to be difficult, and it was. And we saw that today. But yeah, we'll go into the player ratings. David De Gea, he didn't put a foot wrong. He made a great double save, and I'm gonna give him an 8. He got his clean sheet, and I think David De Gea might be the man of the match, based purely on that. That double save at 1-0 is unbelievable. At 1-0, well, of course it was 1-0. It finished like that. That double save where from the edge of the box he gets a strong hand to it, and then the second save, which he saves with his head, I think, is unbelievable. And kept us in within a fighting chance of qualifying. So David De Gea gets an 8. He might get a man of the match for that, but I'm not 100% sure yet. Dallo, 6. He weren't bad, he weren't great. He gets a 6. Lindelof, the same. Martinez can have a 7. Luke Shaw can have a 6. Yeah, I mean, as I keep saying, these plays weren't bad. I just don't think they were good at. They just weren't great. They were. I don't. You wouldn't say, oh, Dallas had a poor game today. You just be like, he's a bit average. And look, you're allowed to have those sort of games. The issue is just everyone kind of did. Apart from for De Gea, and maybe Garnacho, and maybe Casemiro, and obviously Martinez as well. It was just a lot of bang average performances. I mean, Martinez, I don't think it was his best game. I think he played well still, and maybe a 7.5 would be more fair for Martinez over a 7. But I'll go with a 7. Casemiro, he can have a 7 as well. I mean, we know what Casemiro is about. I don't think he was on the level as we've seen from him recently. Again, he wasn't bad at all. He was not bad at all. And just not quite good enough for what we needed tonight. Unfortunately. I mean, obviously, please, guys, get involved in the live chat. Let me know if you think I'm being too harsh, if you think I'm being too fair. And let me know your play predictions, play ratings, as well. Eriksen, 6. I mean, Eriksen's a player who's capable of doing so much with a ball, and I thought it was kind of more of a steady performance from him today. Capable of more. Didn't quite see it from Eriksen. 6. Bruno, he gets a 6. He was okay. Again, I just think if you had moved him central into where Donny van der Beek was playing, we would have seen more of him, and we would have seen a better Bruno Fernandes, and a Bruno Fernandes that could have won us the game. I didn't think him staying out on the right the whole game was the right decision by Erik ten Hag. Obviously, Erik ten Hag knows more about the game than me, but I thought that was a bizarre decision. I do think, had we moved him central and brought on, when you bring on Rashford, you bring on Rashford for Donny, move the 10, move the midfielder into midfield, and put the winger on the wing. Like, that is just simple. That's just like basic thing for me. And he didn't, and I think it was a silly move from Erik ten Hag. And I think had he, like I said, moved Bruno central, put Rashford on the flank, we would have seen more from Rashford, more from Bruno, and potentially gone on to win the game by 2. Donny, I'm gonna have to give him a 5. I'm sorry, Donny, but he's a 5. We've been calling for him to get his opportunity. He got it today, and I think he was very quiet. Very, very quiet. Not enough from Donny van der Beek for me, and that's why he's not playing, realistically. Just a very quiet performance. And look, he's going to have to play against Villa, more or less, because we are missing Bruno Fernandes due to suspension. We need to see a better performance from Donny van der Beek in that game. Whether or not that is as a number 10, or we kind of switched that 4-3-3, which I predicted we would play, and have Eriksen and Donny as 2 8s rather than an 8 and a 10. We'll have to wait and find out, but we need more from Donny van der Beek in the next game. Garnacho, I'm actually going to give him an 8, and I'll give him man of the match over David De Gea. He obviously scored the match winner. I think he had a very bright performance. It was a major call for Erik ten Hag to start Garnacho, and I think he played very well. He was a threat. He was dangerous. He worked. And look, he got his goal, became the youngest player in Manchester United history to score. I think it's youngest foreign player to score in Europe for Manchester United ever. He played well. I'm really happy for him. And look, we were speaking in the watch along about the fact that we wanted to see him play more. I don't see where these opportunities will come from when everyone's fully fit, and I think a loan would be best for him. But while we have got the injuries, I would like to see him play. I think he does look like a top talent. Ronaldo, he got the assist. Probably puts him up from a 5 to a 6. I thought Ronaldo, it was a nothing game from Ronaldo again. It didn't offer much. But just bang average. Just bang average. I don't think he offers enough really to stick by him. I think you've got so much talent coming through football right now. Look at someone like a Cody Gakpo at PSV. What a talent he is. And I'm taking Gakpo over Ronaldo. I'm taking a fully fit Anthony Martial over Cristiano Ronaldo. That's just the way I see it nowadays, unfortunately. Moving to the bench, Rashford, I don't think he played well when he came on. He gets a 5. Never really impacted the game. Absolutely wasted in central midfield. Or at number 10. Fred, I don't think he was great either. Neither was McTominay. I'm actually going to give both of those 5s. They're both dodgy 5s. 5 for McTominay, 5 for Fred. Maguire, he came on, he went up top. He did what he was asked to do, really. He can have a 6. And Erik Ten Hag, I'm actually going to give him a 4. Erik Ten Hag. Look, I'm a big fan of him. This is probably the lowest rating I've ever given Erik Ten Hag. But we won the game. But I think he got a lot of things wrong today. Sticking with Bruno out on the right, I thought was weird. Not starting Rashford, weird. I think the change to the 3-3-3-1, or however you want to call it, weird. And I just don't really. I can't get I can usually get my head around some of the thinking, and while I can somewhat understand what he was trying to do, trying to get more bodies forward, and knowing that we're through anyway. So what's the point of sitting back defending when we need a second goal? But I do think it just became a little bit too unorganised in the front, and I feel like even if you are going to go with that, put players where they play. Like I keep going on about Bruno and Rashford, but Rashford is not a 10. He has never played as a 10 in his career. Bruno, while he has occasionally played on the right, he's a number 10. He's a midfielder. So if you're going to go for a formation that's completely out the blue, completely kind of out of the comfort zone of the players, at least do it by putting the kind of the key players in the positions they're used to play, in the positions they play. And he didn't do that. And I think that was a mistake on his part. And that's why he gets a 4. I feel like he could have done more to try and change the game. And the things he did try and do to change it, I don't think particularly worked. And I think they were at times the wrong idea. But look, I mean, we're through. We knew that. I think it's important to kind of, remember, we did win the game. It feels like a loss because, again, the circumstances of the group and the fact that we need to win by 2 to top it. But it is what it is. It's a tough pill to swallow. But at the end of the day, we are Manchester United. We expect to win this competition. We want to be in the Champions League. So while ideally you'd want to play a game less and skip out the round of 16, the fact we're playing against a Champions League club just means that we beat one of them earlier on our way to winning the tournament, or we are playing against opposition that the level we should be at. So we should be playing Champions League football, not Europa League. So it's not the end of the world. While it's disappointing that we have to play the extra game, we want to be playing Champions League football anyway. So it's a good challenge for us, a good test. Plus, against the better teams, when a team that will come out against us, we've usually done quite well against this season. So it's not the end of the world. But the only disappointing thing is we would have liked to top the group. We would have liked to have played a game less. But it is what it is. Anyway, if you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button below and subscribe if you are new and you haven't already. Helps get this ticker moving up and up to 522. So if you could do that, that would be greatly appreciated. Or if we can get it even higher, even better. But yeah, if you haven't, please do that. But yeah, thank you all for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one in a bit.